Coach Curtin, great to see you again, by the way. Last time I saw you in person was when you beat NYCFC in the playoffs out on the pitch.
Not salty.
Yeah, not salty at all. I also did not rewatch that.
So we're even.
I also did not rewatch that. But I want to ask you, I think one of the things that you're exemplary at is being a sort of a man manager and a coach that can speak to different levels. You know, we spoke privately when you had Elsinho on the bench, and what's that like, having that magic? Some of the young players, I don't know how many more Aronsons you can pull out there in Philly, but young, old, doesn't matter. You got them all. I guess for me, what's most important is I work with someone that you've worked with in Charlie Davies. What could you tell us about that experience that could help me manage Charlie Davies?
Yeah, so look, to the first part of the question, I'm a relationships coach. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I do think with the modern player, you're moving away from the old, I don't want to say dictatorships, but that's kind of, the old school way of coaching. I think you should have your players' cell phone numbers. I think you should be open to them and let them know where they stand and give feedback. That's my approach to things. Yes, the tactics matter, of course, and substitutions and different things along the way, but the relationships you have with these players is what really helps you to get the most out of them day in and day out. And you guys know our philosophy. You've heard it a million times. We believe 11 guys cohesively together can beat any group of superstars. And, even when Charlie was here, if you go back and I look at that talent that we had in the locker room, I made mistakes as a young coach there because I didn't get the best out of that group. Because if you go through the names and you go, Charlie Davies, Mo Adu, Bedoya was here, Gooch was here, I didn't do a good enough job. Pontius was here. I mean, really, really top MLS players. So I learned even from that time. But Charlie will tell you, our locker room that year, I mean, you want to talk about a group that had fun together, still played some amazing soccer during the course of the year. We just weren't consistent enough throughout the year. And that's why you saw us that year with Charlie. We beat teams 5 or 6-0, and then we'd have a letdown and lose. And Charlie will tell you I didn't play him enough. I know that's coming next.
No.
But I think Charlie can speak to the culture we had in that locker room was special, and I think it's only gotten stronger and stronger. And I'm grateful to all the players that I've had that have kind of laid that foundation for us and showed the young kids the right way, and now we're starting to see the fruit of that. We're not perfect as a club, but I think we're getting better and better each year.
Jim, how have you evolved then as a head coach? Like, what would you have done differently with that group that you had?
Yeah, so look, when I got thrown into the job, I was 34 years old. I didn't have a big staff at the time. Now I have an incredible staff in a million different departments, and you're able to delegate and trust people and empower them to do better. I think at that time, maybe that was my first time I was handling pros that played in World Cups, that were superstars for our national team. So that was new for me. So the way sometimes I describe it is, like an astronaut, you can do all the preparation for years and years, but that first time you go to the moon, I'd imagine, until you're there, you don't know what the hell it really is like. So for me as a coach too, I think you have to have time to make mistakes, time to do things the right way, time to do things maybe that you could do a little bit differently, and have hindsight, and have an ownership group that maybe gives you the time to make those mistakes and grow as a coach. Because just like players, we have good games, we have bad games, but how we respond to those is still what really defines us. So I'm grateful for that. But yeah, certainly along the way now, that was my first time probably navigating a group that, shoot, they did a heck of a lot more than I ever did as a player. And now I'm talking to them and asking them to do things that I wasn't good enough to do. So they were probably looking at me in some ways. Charlie's going, I scored in Azteca. What have you done? So those are real things that happen in locker rooms, So I'm grateful for the experience. I learned a lot from them. And look, Charlie's the first guy when I see on the road I get excited to see, because I loved working with him, even though he still will complain about his playing time.
Never. But I do love the fact that my style has rubbed off on you. The kick games. I'm curious.
Oh, you're a preppy New England boy. Don't put me in your category.
Come on.
Get him, Jim.
Your sneaker game is
yes.
good.
My sneaker game is
dressing-
always tight.
So is yours.
What's your crown jewel in your closet?
And also, what's on your feet
and
right
what's
now?
what's your holy grail in terms of the sneaker that you don't have that you wish you've had?
Oh man, so look, I'm a Nike guy now. Nike takes really good care of me. So anything Nike, I'm Jordan 1s, any Jordan 1s, any Dunks, I really appreciate. I don't like any like the newer Jordans that look like you'd go out and play basketball in. That's not really my thing. And yeah, I'm lucky that I have Nike to take care of me on the shoe side of things. I have a lot that I like. Some of them are, $15,000, $20,000, so I don't get into those.
Whoa.
But I do. You guys got me up on the screen, man. Thanks.
Oh,
Appreciate
yeah.
it.
Style.
You guys work fast.
I think you'd like the ones I got on right now. I got
What do
on
you
a
got?
pair of
Let me
ones.
see. Let me
You
see.
got the J Balvin
The J
ones
Balvin
right now.
ones. Let me put them up
Oh,
for you
man.
right here.
See,
Put
you
'em up
got
on
the
the table.
high-end stuff. You got the real high-end. Those are nice.
No, these are nice. They're a little
Little light work
little
for
something.
him?
But
like
no,
those
Jim, I think you're one of the best coaches I've ever had in terms of having that relationship, being so open, and it's great to see you grow and lead this organization into a new direction of just success. When you look at the Union, it's going to be a tough game, and typically you are chasing the game because you guys are just a pressing team and relentless. So I respect you like no other. So continue to do amazing things for the Union, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Man, you want to be my agent?
Jim, all he,
No, it means
Jim,
a lot. Look, again,
all
guys,
he
you
did-
guys know.
all he did was
we have
complain about his
29
playing
teams.
time before you came on, by the way.
We have 29 teams in our league, and the best compliment you can get is, what we're going to look like. We have an identity, like you said. If you ask every GM or coach or player what the Union's going to look like, that's the ultimate compliment. They know before the opening whistle blows that it's going to be a tough game. We're going to press. We're going to look a certain way. We're probably going to play out of a 4-4-2 diamond. So that's a real compliment, and it means the most to me and my staff when you give a compliment like that, Charlie, and say we have an identity, because it's not easy to establish one, and you see the amount of teams in the league that week in and week out, you kind of wonder, what they're trying to do.
Jim, two things before we let you go. One, what shoes do you have on right now? Charlie showed his. I feel like it's only fair.
Mine are lame because I'm going out to coach. So mine are just some
Let's see.
some Nikes. Sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
boring.
No,
I forget what I wore today.
Totally acceptable.
I think I wore those new red Air Maxes that just came out, that they re-released on Air Max Day. I like Air Maxes a lot too. Those are classics.
Is that the five
I'm
bubble?
old, so these guys, it's the one thing I have in the locker room that can kind of keep me young and I can relate to the younger guys with is the sneaker stuff.
Okay. So next question, Jim. Do you have your fit picked out for the match against LAFC?
I just saw the temperature. It's going to be so here. It'll be a little bit warmer. I just saw in LA though it's going to be cold, so there might be a new jacket, or a nice new jacket that comes out in the big game in the semifinal there. So yeah, nothing picked out quite yet here in
But he's got
Philly.
the
I think
jacket.
Nike just sent some stuff out, so we'll see
A
what
nice
we
little
got.
smile. He mentioned
no,
the jacket, and there was a
Jim
nice
pulled
little
the Prada
smirk
out.
I was
there.
going to say,
Jim
Jim,
pulled the Prada out for the playoffs.
my old
Sometimes that comes
podcast.
out.
You were officially named the best dressed coach of MLS from the Call It podcast a couple years back, and the style, you keep it so fresh, Jim Curtin, on the
Thank you
field,
so
off
much.
the field. We appreciate you so much. Best of luck tomorrow in the match.
Thank you so much. And there's beauty and simplicity in the Pradas. So
Jim Curtin.
you, guys.
All
It was
right,
fun
we are
having
going
you.
to take a break. Plenty more Morning Footy when we